Boo! The plan is not actually to reopen the park, but to keep it closed for proposed redevelopment that will continue to destroy the necessary forest that is providing what is called the lungs of Atlanta to the people who live in the area. This is going to further support the construction of the Cop City, and we cannot allow this to happen. We need to defend the Atlanta forest. This park needs to be reopened now. Cop City will never be built. Cop City will never be built.
Cop City will never be built.
Cop City will never be built.
Cop City will never be built.
One of the many lies that you will be told about this movement is that there are outside agitators here. What I want to point out, however, is that there are students from out of town who we, the students and citizens of Atlanta, have invited to come and be with us during this week of action. That is because the construction of this facility and the destruction of this forest, which is ongoing with this vote, is not simply an issue in Atlanta, it is a national issue. And so we want to thank the students who have come with us here.
Yeah! Hello everybody, thank you for being out here today. My name is Garrett. I am a student from Atlanta, Georgia, southeast Atlanta, near the facility. Does anybody know why we're here today? That's right. We're here to demand that the People's Weelaunee Park be reopened immediately to the public. We are here to demand that Ryan Millsap not be given an inch of land in this public park. We are here to demand that not one more tree be cleared in our park. Does anybody know why this is important? The park is important because each and every human being deserves easy access to a place where they can be in and around nature. Let us emphasize the fact that this park is in an underserved, predominantly black neighborhood. Everyone deserves access to nature the same way. This park is important because it is the ancestral homeland of the Muskogee people who were forcibly removed and stripped of the right to their homeland. This park is important because this land that they are voting on in an hour is the very same land where our friend and comrade Tortuguita was shot by 57 bullets fired from police guns and killed too soon. Let it be in their memory that we rally here today. Viva! Viva Tortuguita! Viva! Viva
Tortuguita!
Viva! Viva Tortuguita!
Viva! Viva Tortuguita!
Viva! Viva Tortuguita!
Viva! Viva Tortuguita!
Viva! Viva Tortuguita!
Viva! Viva Tortuguita!
Stop Cop City!
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 No more trees falling!
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 Give us back our park! Give us back our park! Give us back our park!
Give us back our park!
Give us back our park!
Give us back our park!
Give us back our park!
Give us back our park!
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, people. Let's go.
We're now going to hear from a student who has come all the way from Northwestern to join us here to explain why it is important that students all across the country are against the construction of this facility and the destruction of this forest.
I just wanted to say a few words. One, I am not an outside agitator. Students who have come here from around are not outside agitators. We are people who are in a country, who are in a world that is being destroyed. We are people in community with other people because we know that injustice everywhere, anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. We know that every tree, we know that every added cop facility, we direction that these spaces that we love are heading in. As we destroy life, as we destroy spaces of life to create spaces of violence and destruction, is that really the community we want to be building? No! So we are down here because we know that as this effort is just as much important to anyone in this country, anyone in this world who cares about defending life, who cares about defending life against spaces of death. So I just want to extend the call to anyone who cares about this issue. Know that this is our fight. This is a united effort. We cede the floor to those who have the most knowledge in the area. We are not the ones leading the efforts, but we are here for support, and we have just as much of a right to be here in community. Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City here! Stop Cop City everywhere!
Stop Cop City here! Stop Cop City everywhere!
Cop City will never be built!
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 We cannot forget how important it is to reopen this park when we talk about stopping Cop City. Because the person who was murdered, who was shot 57 times, was shot on this land. There are people who are being charged right now for sitting in trees. When we talk about what it is that the police do, they kill to protect property. So if we allow these trees to be destroyed, if we allow something that is actually alive to be destroyed so that movie studios can get built, we know that the only thing that is going to happen is increased police presence in the area, increased state violence in the area, increased murder by the police of the residents in the area.
That's right.
We need to make sure that this park is reopened now and that Cop City is stopped forever. Cop City will never be built.
Cop City will never be built!
Cop City will never be built.
Cop City will never be built!
Cop City will never be built.
Cop City will never be built!
As we're all here today, as our comrade just told us, we need to think about what type of world we are building. Not just for us, for the people who come after us and the people who come after them. In 100 years, Cop City will never be there. What will be there? The trees. The trees were there 100 years ago, and 100 years before that, and 1,000 years before that. The trees need to be there forever, and that's why we need to protect them, because that is what will last. That is what will give us the sustainability to let us last, okay? We need parks, we need nature, we need to live in harmony with this planet, because that is what lets us know that we are alive and life is what is worth protecting. Cop City will not be built. Cop City would never last. Cop City is a monument to death above life, okay? Stop Cop City!
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 And as we have all said, it is crucial that we honor the blood that has already been spilled of our comrade, our friend Tortuguita, killed on this very land that they are voting on today. Let's just take a moment of silence to honor the losses that we have already suffered. It is with Tortuguita's memory that we move forward, knowing that we will never let this facility be built. We will never let this city roll over us and tell us how we want to build our futures, what worlds we want to live in. Because I know everybody here, everybody in Atlanta, everybody in the United States, everybody in the world wants to live in a world where life is valued over death, over property, over cops. Because of that, we say stop Cop City! Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Defend our forest!
Defend our forest!
Defend our forest!
Defend our forest!
Defend all
for doing nothing but sitting in a park. A park that will soon be one of very few if we allow the DeKalb Board of Commissioners and Atlanta City Council to continue to destroy our green space. So it's very important that everybody here for the remainder of the week spends as much time as possible in Brownwood Park, because the only people who keep us safe are us. We've been shown that we cannot depend on the police for anything except state violence. We should not expect anything except state violence, and so we need to make sure that we are in community to prevent that from happening to ourselves. There's also a rally at noon on Friday at Cadence Bank that everybody should show up for. We need to hold the people who are funding these projects accountable. It is not just the police. There's a complex private infrastructure that corrupts our government and seizes control of any non-violent pieces of our society to commit state violence to continue to gain profit. So I hope everybody shows up to Cadence at noon on Friday.
We're just gonna do some more chanting, make some more noise, yell at them in there before they make this vote, and then we're gonna let you all go to the many events that are happening today, tomorrow, everything else in the week of action, okay? Sounds good? Right. Stop cop sitting!
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 Viva, viva, Tortuguita!
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 I might have spoken a little bit too soon. I think we have some more words from another student comrade right here, so I'm going to pass this whole word off to him.
The important reason why I came all the way from New Jersey is that I foresee things like Top City give a way of culture that deserves the peace that comes with nature. Constantly, people of color in this country have not had access to the beauty of nature, the remembrance that nature shows, that even after the things that humans constantly try to do to take down our existence and the existence of life around us, that things can grow, that we can grow. And having a community that does not have access, despite having a state that does not provide this community the proper access to mental health services, is an ugly thing to see. Right now, living in New York City, in Bushwick, Brooklyn, I don't get to experience the beauty of nature every day that Atlanta has shown me. And Atlanta, being in this city, has made me realize just how important and how beautiful a community can be when it has access to the beautiful world that we live in. And taking that away from anybody, any community, is dehumanization and continues to legalize the takedown of Black lives in this society. So to get past that, we have to recognize ways we can naturally implement joyful aspects into these communities. And that means keeping and even reintegrating nature into more metropolitan cities across the world. And that is something that Atlanta can be a demonstration on. Atlanta can actually help show other places, hey, this is a beautiful thing that helps us. Yeah. So I ask you all to save the people. Save the people. Saving the trees saves the people. Save the trees saves the people.
Save the trees, save the people.
Thank you.
All right, now we're gonna do some final chants and then get out of here now that we've heard from all of our comrades here today. I like that last one, let's keep going with it. Saving the trees, saving the people.
Save the trees, save the people.
Save the trees, save the people.
Save the trees, save the people.
Save
Check, check, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Oh boy, feels good to be in this chair.
Check, check. D, can you just let me know if you can hear me? All right, we're good. Thanks. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. This has been Unicorn Riot. We're live from Decatur and DeKalb County. Sorry, Decatur, outside the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners meeting. Here, yeah. Let me just. Are you cool to stand right there? Is that comfortable? All right. So yeah, I guess if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and kind of like what's up with the DeKalb County Commissioners here. How does that relate to the Stop Cop City struggle? Like, why are people out here today?
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. So my name is Garrett. I've lived in Atlanta for the past 10 years. I'm a student in college right now. Right here, this is a rally put on by the Students Against Cop City Coalition, which is an allied coalition of college students all across the country, but mostly based out of Atlanta, against the construction of this Cop City facility and all other ones like it. And we are dedicated to protecting the Weelaunee Forest and all other forests around the country. What's going on here today at the DeKalb Board of Commissioners is in about an hour, they're going to be voting on whether or not they are going to reopen a portion of the park that the Cop City site is located in. This is important because this particular aspect of the park has long been disputed over who has the right to the property between the public and Ryan Millsap, who is a corporate developer who wants to tear down that part of the forest and turn it into a soundstage right next to Cop City to sort of further the corporate and entertainment industry takeover of Atlanta. So we are here to demand that the DeKalb Board of Commissioners vote to reopen the park to the people, because every public green space, especially those like this one located in predominantly underserved black neighborhoods, are important to the survival of nature and thus the survival of people, because that's what really matters in the world today.
If I could just for a sec. So we've heard, like I was reading in the news on my way here that DeKalb County CEO Michael Thurmond announced they'd be reopening Intrenchment Creek Park, and so there's sort of some conflicting reports about that. What can you tell us about what's going on there?
Yeah, what I can tell you is that it plays into what we've seen for the past really 5 years around this issue of Cop City, is that there is no truthful information given to us by any city, county, whatever boards. It's a constant stream of misinformation, people contradicting themselves. We saw that with the funding for the facility. Is it 30 million? Now it's 67 million. We don't know what to believe because there's been no transparency with this thing. There's been no accountability to our elected officials. And that's exactly what we're seeing here today. Do they really intend to open this park and give it back to the people? Do they intend to sell us out again for campaign donations like we've seen over and over again? We really don't know because there has been no accountability and no transparency.
Thanks. And so during the rally, you mentioned that there's some kind of vote coming up here in like about an hour-ish. Could you let folks know what's up with that?
Yeah. So like I was saying, that is the vote that the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners, which is not the city of Atlanta, but DeKalb County, which the site is located in unincorporated DeKalb, which is a crucial thing to note because they don't have representation on the Atlanta City Council, which is the governing body that's been making most of the decisions regarding this. But the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners is voting on whether or not they are going to reopen the portion of Intrenchment Creek Park, which is the portion of the South River or Weelaunee Forest where Cop City is located, that is not part of the planned facility site, whether or not they're going to reopen that to the people, because it has been closed for construction and clear cutting, and also there's been disputes over the land right with Ryan Millsap, like I said, where he may or may not have been sold some of the rights by the DeKalb County to like the entrance area connected to the parking lot. It's a messy legal mess. Nobody really has a clear idea of what's going on because we haven't been told by any of our elected officials, but we're waiting to see whether or not they vote with the people or with corporations today in an hour.
Thanks. Yeah, I guess one more thing I wanted to ask, kind of like as someone who lives in Atlanta, what's your sense of kind of where the Stop Cop City movement is at now versus maybe earlier this year? Like, where do you think it's going? And like, how does that feel for you? What do you think people should know?
I think right now we have arguably the most momentum we've ever had. Folks have really gotten energized and rejuvenated with the movement. There's this movement is going to go no matter what. I think we saw when our comrade and many people in this movement's friend Tortuguita was slain, we saw a lot of people energized to continue fighting the state. When we saw the Atlanta City Council vote to approve the funding, we saw people get energized after 14 hours of public comment against it. The meeting went till 5 a.m. We kept them there until 5 a.m. and they still voted against the people. We saw people get energized from that. When the Georgia state troopers raided the teardown house and illegally and on no evidential basis arrested 3 of the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, bail fund organizers and threw them in jail, we saw a lot of people get energized over that gross ignorance of the law. So yeah, I think we've got the most energy we've ever had. This week of action, we're only a few days in, but we've already had so many great events, so much great energy, so much great community, and it's only going to keep building and snowballing all summer, all year, until this project is finally killed.
Thanks. And just because people might like leave or rejoin the live stream, can you just say just who you are, what organization you're with, if people want to learn more?
Right. My name is Garrett. I'm a local college student. I've lived in Atlanta for 10 years. I'm with, we're not an official organization, more so a loose coalition, the Students Against Cop City Coalition. And we're students primarily from Atlanta and the surrounding areas, but also the entire nation. We have folks from New Jersey here, we have folks from Chicago here today, and folks from all over the country here to help us stop Cop City.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Hi. I'm good. Hi.
So thanks for joining, everyone. This is Unicorn Riot. We're live here outside, basically like the DeKalb County Administration headquarters outside of Atlanta. There's a vote coming up from the DeKalb County Commissioners about whether or not to reopen Intrenchment Creek Park, which is a park that's been closed, that's right by where Cop City is being built. What we're hearing from folks is that they're arguing that essentially the park is not actually being reopened, it's being classified as being redeveloped, but there's a vote coming up in about an hour that the rally you just saw on the stream was kind of drawing attention to that. So I think someone else is going to be kind enough to speak with us if you just give me a moment here. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you for wanting to be part of it.
Hi, so thanks for being willing to speak with us. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and kind of saying what brought you out here, like what's up here with the rally today, why the DeKalb Commissioners, anything else you want people to know?
Yeah, I'm a student. I go to school out in Chicago area, originally from New Jersey. And yeah, I'm here today. I learned about this only recently, and this is an issue that comes into the intersect of environmental justice, racial justice, and just issues about like people who, like I said, care about like life versus death. It's like such a simple way to put, but that's really what it is. Like, we know police kill people. The more training, the more time police are spending doing their work, the more people are being killed, the more people that are being harassed, the more people that are being traumatized. We know that parks not only provide like cooler temperatures, they help us deal with the climate crisis, they provide green spaces for children to play, for children to connect with nature, for children to connect with world, for communities to grow food, for communities to have shelter. We know that that is life. So it's really not an oversimplification. Like, that's what it is. That's what this deciding of priorities is. And this is Atlanta. This is a place where people I love live here. This is a place that like my family has history. But also like this is a place that has people that are engaged in a struggle and can use support. So I was just really excited for the opportunity, for the invitation to come and provide support, to engage in community, to bring things back to other places, and also do what I can to forward this effort, knowing that it affects those here that I care about, and we also know that things have a ripple effect.
So you mentioned you're from Chicago. Is there any sort of commonalities or themes that you see like connecting what's going on in Chicago to the Cop City stuff here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole No Cop Academy in Chicago. That was a whole effort where they were expanding a police training facility in a predominantly black and brown area in the city of Chicago. And unfortunately, that did result in the expansion and once again putting money towards violence, towards suppression. And there's a lot of Chicago people that see that connection, that are building that connection. And yeah, just knowing that if we can support another community in that fight, we'd really love to be able to do that. And we know that Chicago's not finished, like that's still a fight there, and like a win anywhere for justice, just like as a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, a win for justice anywhere really is a win for justice everywhere. So
just from your time here or even watching from Chicago, what's your sense of where the movement's at now? Do you think it's changing? Where do you see it going? Like what do you think is next?
yeah, I think people are really excited about massification and not just like centering things in Atlanta, but like to the extent that 2020, that was a time where that was a local issue that became nationalized and people realized the connections in their community and were uplifting what was happening in a local area and also uplifting how it connects to their area, what specifically can I do. And so I very much see the Stop Cop City movement that has the potential for massification. There are a lot of people that are really excited about it other places. There's a lot of people that like don't have the privilege to be able to like take off time from work and come down, and that are really excited to continue doing work to support and also grow work to support. So I think that's definitely one direction that this movement is heading in terms of just getting more folks from around the country involved where they are in this movement.
Yeah, I guess one follow-up to that. So we've like both in terms of Cop City itself and the movement against it, there's a lot of reference to the 2020 uprisings. Is there any takeaways or lessons or like themes you saw from 2020 that you think are important that are kind of still with us in general?
I mean, a big experience that I had during 2020, I was in New Jersey at the time, is not only like figuring out what we can to support another local area's effort, but really thinking about like what is the connection, like what are the things that, like where do I have power to like impact? Like knowing that I have more influence over my elected officials than I have. Like I don't think I have a significant influence over any elected officials or like important people in Atlanta. I just like I know my positionality. So doing what you can to support other local efforts, but also like figuring out like what is your fight? Like where are you native to? Like where is your knowledge base? And that really does make you powerful. That gives you that ability to act on a local level. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Can I make one more point?
What? Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, whatever you want.
Just another thing in terms of like where the movement is at right now. Not only are things growing in terms of like organizers, but things are also growing in terms of suppression of this kind of work. And it's kind of frustrating. Like I shouldn't be so scared to like just be a student and like share my opinion and like be in solidarity, but like I am scared. Like there are people who are scared because like the suppression is real. Like not only the violence of a movement for life, that is real. And so like we need to be questioning that. We need to continue to come together in terms of community, because as they get stronger, we just need to get stronger. Like we need to get stronger and we need to pull together and we need to continue to be caring. So like every level of engagement in terms of the bail fund, in terms of mutual aid, which is an essential part of any organizing movement, because if our needs aren't met, then we can't be going to meetings, we can't be showing up to things. So just wanted to share that part of it as well.
Cool. Yeah, anything else you wanted to add, feel free.
Yeah, no, that's it.
All right, thank you. Thanks. Cool. Okay, so yeah, do you mind just introducing yourself and kind of just restating like like why were you a part of this rally outside the DeKalb County Commissioners? Kind of what's up with this vote? Where does that fit into the larger Cop City situation?
Yeah. My name is Oren. I'm an Emory student. I'm also from Atlanta, so I was born and raised here. So what they're voting on is essentially whether or not to reopen what is known either as Weelaunee People's Park or Intrenchment Creek Park, which is part of the parcel of land on which Tortuguita was murdered, and also part of the land is contested right now between DeKalb County, or between people who are suing DeKalb County and Ryan Millsap for what is an illegal land swap. Except it's kind of like a faux reopening. They're lying about reopening because the suggestion is to keep the park closed for many, many months, if not over a year, and to greatly redevelop the park, which would also be cutting down a lot of the forest. And so it actually seems that this would be potentially aiding Ryan Millsap in any construction that might happen here if trees are cut down in the contested land right now, but also just continue to destroy the forest that has been so crucial for the climate of Atlanta, but also just as a park for people who live in the area.
Would you mind just explaining who Ryan Millsap is, how he fits into this?
Yeah. So Ryan Millsap was working with Blackhall Studios. I'm not 100% sure if he's still connected with them, but basically he owned a different parcel of land in the area that he had clear cut, and then it turned out the land was not good for constructing, and so he did a land swap with the city of, with the DeKalb County after he had already clear cut the land. Basically trying to get a hold of new land that had trees on it to then cut those trees down to build movie studios there. When really, like, the people in the area don't want movie studios anywhere or the trees to be getting cut down. Yeah.
Cool. I guess what's your sense of where this week of action is at, the movement in general? There's been a lot of repression. There's also sort of been like more attention, new energy.
Right.
What's your read on that?
I mean, I think the repression is tough right now. They're like, even as recently as the first day of the week of action, which was like a really joyful day, a ton of cops were there just to intimidate people. There are a lot of new people coming into the movement right now with the referendum, but I think that doesn't mean that we should lose sight of the other tactics that have been super, super effective. In fact, I think we need to remain focused on all of the tactics that have been very effective in this movement, and continue to support our comrades, especially our comrades who have been arrested, because those are people who are, you know, putting themselves out there, and so and who have done nothing wrong. Right, these are people who are just facing completely bogus charges for essentially sitting in trees or showing up to rallies or literally even just owning black clothing or being at a music festival. Like, these are the ridiculous charges that are going on right now. And so it's really important to remain focused on all of the tactics that have been super useful in the movement. I think the movement is really strong. I think we're continuing to grow in Atlanta. I think that we are going to make sure that Cop City will never be built.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for speaking with us.
I'm gonna head out.
You are?
All right, so we're going to take the stream down in a second. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been Chris with Unicorn Riot. We're live outside, I believe it's like the headquarters of DeKalb County government in Decatur, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. There's a hearing going on right now. I think a vote is expected in about the next hour, as you just heard, about whether or not to quote-unquote reopen Intrenchment Creek Park, which is also known as Weelaunee People's Park. But what we're hearing from folks is that basically the reopening is not really a reopening. They'll be redeveloping the land, which includes cutting a bunch of trees down. Yeah, to kind of summarize the short version of it, the tree cutting and destruction of the South River Forest outside of Atlanta, also known as the Weelaunee Forest, it's not just from the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, also known as Cop City. That's the kind of now infamous urban warfare training center that's being pushed by the Atlanta Police Foundation, which is a private nonprofit that essentially funnels money from mega corporations to the police to influence them directly outside of democratic government structures. But so apart from that, there's also a land swap that the county, DeKalb County, outside of Atlanta, not in Atlanta City proper, DeKalb County did a land swap with a billionaire named Ryan Millsap, who's looking to redevelop that land for his own private use. So people were here today basically campaigning to encourage county officials to like immediately reopen that land, which had been used by the public. It's been closed to the public for, I believe, well over a month now. And that area was also part of where people were able to organize against the Cop City construction, which was sort of in the immediate adjacent area. I believe that actual park is where Manuel Terán, also known as Tortuguita, was shot and killed by Georgia State Patrol on January 18th. Media reporting often describes Tortuguita as being killed at the Cop City construction site. They were actually off of that site on what is essentially public parkland, and they were shot and killed during the opening hours of the park. So even before Intrenchment Creek Park was officially closed by DeKalb County officials, someone involved in trying to defend the forest by literally stopping trees from being cut down, someone opposed to this project, was already killed by militarized police, not even like while the park was open. Now the park is closed, people are here demanding that officials reopen it. So yeah, Unicorn Riot's going to be on the ground here for the rest of the 6th week of action to stop Cop City. If you go to our website, unicornriot.ninja, you'll see we've got like a landing page and sort of doing day-by-day updates. You can also follow us on Twitter or Mastodon or Blue Sky or Instagram or Facebook. I think that's all of them. YouTube, Twitch, is kind of a lot these days. If you want to help us continue to be able to do this work, you can go to unicornriot.ninja/donate. We accept donations through a variety of different online platforms. Honestly, sorry to ask for money, but we have to be able to keep doing this. So if you're able to, please consider making a one-time donation or becoming a recurring donor. Then you can basically support our coverage for people that watch it but can't afford to donate. So if you're like wealthier and watching this, you can support our lower income audience by making a donation right now at unicornriot.ninja/donate. Thanks for sitting through my little pledge drive there. Again, this is Unicorn Riot. We're live outside the DeKalb County Commissioners in Decatur, Georgia. We'll be back in Atlanta to continue covering the 6th week of action of the Stop Cop City movement in Atlanta. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're going to go ahead and take the live stream down. Yeah, thanks Dan and Dee for running the back end. Again, this is Unicorn Riot, live from outside the DeKalb County Commissioners hearing. Check our website, unicornriot.ninja, for more.